Discover Card Countdown to Green is presented by Discover Card. It pays to discover. And by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy.
Hey TNT, it's great to be here in Darlington. Even though it's raining a little bit, we're hoping it's going to clear up, but hoping to get this race, and it just don't look good right now. I always look forward to coming here to Darlington and racing here. I love this racetrack. I know it's kind of hard. You get hurt here, and you feel like it might dampen your spirits by coming back. But I mean, I love coming here and I love racing here.
Steve Park is charged up. He was critically injured in the Busch race here 1 year ago. Missed the first 4 races of the season. Made his return here at Darlington in the spring and will start 36th today. During this race, you will probably hear this technical term. I got caught up in somebody else's mess. Translation, I was just out there driving. The knuckleheads in front of me wrecked, and I couldn't get stopped in time. When your stuff gets torn up, you got to make the most of it. And if you do well, you just might win the Golden Benny.
Okay, for this week's Golden Benny, let's go back to the Saturday night race at Bristol, lap 299.
Jeff Burton, the fifth place car.
Man. Just had nowhere to go.
He was running fifth.
And that's the problem at Bristol. You get caught up in somebody else's mess. He had nowhere to go. He had a good race car, and now he's done.
Not so fast there, Wally. See the guys putting water in the car next to the driver. On the other side, the steam coming out, trying to protect the guys working on the car, covering the steam up. And all the guys in the front with pry bars, with hammers, with chisels, trying to get the grill opening open so air would go through there to cool the water off. They did it, able to finish on the lead lap, ran all 500 laps, and finished in the 13th position. Frankie Stoddard, the Sitco crew, gets my nomination and the award, this week's Golden Benny. Frankie, congratulations.
Well, thank you, Benny. We're honored to accept the Golden Benny. I guess that one of our Roush teammates already had it this year, a 17 car, so this makes the second Roush car I think that's got it this year. That's pretty cool.
How many times did you stop and try to straighten the car out after the crash?
Well, the guys tell me 20 times.
Come on, they didn't have 20 laps under the caution.
And you told me 10 or 12, so I don't know. I mean, but at least probably between 12 and 16 times.
Let me ask somebody in the PK, how many times did you stop? Have any idea?
12 to 16. All I know is he told me that if I don't get it fixed, he's going to come down off the box. I guess I didn't do a good job. He came down off the box, so.
I saw you out there with a helmet on. What was that all about?
I wanted to get a little TV time, I guess,
With a big hammer in your hand.
Actually, it was a big crowbar. My ace body guy, Al Allen, he gave me this big crowbar, 17 foot long. It looked like I was, had an oar out there or something, trying to paddle my way home. I need that actually out here today.
You do. Hey, guys, congratulations. You did a terrific job. Lead lap, 13th. You get the Golden Benny. Bill?
Okay, thanks, BP, and congratulations to Frank and the guys. Now, for many race fans, this is their favorite 3-race stretch of the season. The Bristol night race, the Southern 500, then next Saturday night at Richmond. And it got off to a wild start in Thunder Valley.
Something like a shot to the window.
And Ward Burton was fined this week by NASCAR $5,000, not because he throws like Alan Bestwick, but because he ventured onto the track in an unsafe situation. From the news and notes this week, NASCAR chairman and CEO Bill France Jr. had bypass surgery on Wednesday. On Tuesday evening, Mr. France fell and broke his right hip. He was taken to the hospital. After tests were performed, doctors recommended the bypass. That was performed, and the hip was repaired yesterday. His brother Jim said doctors expect a full recovery. Mr. France this morning was removed from a ventilator, and one of the first things he wanted to know, what's the weather at Darlington? Our get well wishes to Mr. France and best wishes to the entire France family. Last night, 4 new members were inducted into the National Motorsports Press Hall of Fame here in Darlington. It was a big evening. Dale Inman is the only crew chief to win 8 Winston Cup championships, 7 with Richard Petty and 1 with Terry Labonte. Bud Moore contributed to winning teams in a variety of motorsports and won 2 Winston Cup championships. The late Ed Otto was the first vice president of NASCAR. And Leonard Wood and his brother Glenn formed the Wood Brothers Racing in 1949. 17 of NASCAR's 50 greatest racers have driven for that team. In addition to all his accomplishments in racing, Leonard Wood is one of the most pleasant people you could ever hope to meet. Kenny Wallace is the new driver in the 23 Dodge, owned by Bill Davis. He replaces Hut Strickland. That is effective here. It's also good for next season when Kenny will take the sponsorship of Stacker 2, put it on the side of that 23 car, and drive for Bill Davis. And car owner Andy Petrie told us on Friday that his attempt to sell his team to Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has fallen through. Petrie owns the 55 car that is driven by Bobby Hamilton. Coming up next, 3.5 hours, 500 miles, 2,000 corners, one man doing all the work. Are drivers athletes? That's the question. We'll get some answers. NASCAR on TNT is in Darlington, South Carolina. That's about 20 minutes west of Interstate 95 that runs through Florence, South Carolina, and about an hour from the beautiful South Carolina coastline. Just under 2 hours from the airport in Charlotte. And the only thing missing from this map is the rain, which we're hoping will go away just like that. How about that? The first Southern 500 was held here on September 4th, 1950, when the track was measured at 1.25 miles. Today, it's 1.366 miles around this place, and it's an egg shape instead of a true oval. Where do we get an explanation for all of this? Well, be careful who you ask, because you just might get a big fish story.
Well, Bill, you know there is a story behind the Darlington Raceway and its unique shape, and it is a fish story, actually. In 1949, Mr. Brasington went to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, had such a good time, he came back and told his friend, Mr. Ramsey, you know what? We need to build a super speedway on your land. And Ramsey said, you know, that's okay, but the one thing you can't do is disturb my prize minnow pond. Brasington said, that's all right, I can do that. So he squeezed down one end of the track, which we now know as turns 3 and 4, to give this track its very unique and asymmetrical shape. Now the pond, the minnow pond that was originally part of the story, well, that's gone. The place where I'm standing is a pond that they have since sort of flooded the area and made for fishing and things like that. And as we get a little flyover practice here, we asked our resident angler in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, Ryan Newman, to come out here and do a little fishing and show me exactly how it's done. But Ryan came out here yesterday, and with raindrops falling, he didn't catch a thing. In fact, he spent almost 15-20 minutes out here and never even got a nibble. But you know, Ryan did tell me something about fishing before he left the scene. He said, when you fish at Darlington, you got to fish the pond. Don't fish the other fishermen. And I've done that. I set a line earlier today, and I've been real patient, waiting to see if I've caught anything on this one. And by golly, I think I've got a bite now. And it's a big one. It's a real big one. And Bill, the thing about Darlington is early on, cars used to go over the embankment here, and some of them landed real close to the pond. And I think there's still some debris down here from one of those early wrecks.
Well, the signature of Wally Dallenbach. So I guess that calls for an explanation.
I resemble that remark.
Yes, you certainly do.
Yes, I did.
You've hit things here before
I've
hard.
hit things everywhere.
But you wouldn't hit it in your car earlier today. We tried to get the Ford No Boundaries car on the track. He didn't want to drive in the rain.
That's not my call. That was a NASCAR call. I was ready. I think Bill Weber was ready.
I was ready, Wally.
I was going to give Bill a ride, and I was going to give you a ride, which really disappoints me. I didn't get to give you a ride.
But after seeing that, Alan, I'm not sure I want to ride with Wally.
Not here, no. I don't think those right side roll bars are quite strong enough.
Yeah, maybe next week at Richmond, Waldo.
Absolutely. Anytime, Bill.
Hey, but I got a baseball. Oh, never mind. We
Go
did
there
that before.
We'll see you guys in a little while. Now, from the high banks at Bristol to the flat track at Martinsville, 600 miles at Charlotte, bumper-to-bumper restrictor plate racing at Daytona and Talladega. 43 men trying to manhandle their stubborn 3,400-pound machines. Are race car drivers athletes? Well, society likes to measure athletic skill with sticks and balls, and that's okay. All the racers want you to know is that this is no simple Sunday drive.
I don't think that Scottie Pippen could sit in my car for 4.5 hours, 140 degrees, without flipping out.
Can I line up against a
a pitcher and hit a ball out of the ballpark? No. But I don't believe he could sit in my race car and race me.
And they do it while pinched tightly into a molded seat, too snug to even squirm for comfort. With the pressure of getting on and off a pit road, cautions cannot count as timeouts. The slightest mistake can be painful. And of course, there's no air conditioning.
Whether it's a Martinsville and you've got the brake temperature, whether it's a road course, you've got all the temperature of the car. Everything's hot, the engine, the transmission, the car itself.
We lose 7 or 8 pounds every Sunday. There's no timeouts, there's no break.
Best way to describe what we do is, and you've all heard this, is roll your windows up on a hot sunny day and turn the heat wide open and ride around 400 or 500 miles and see what happens.
The 4-hour mental challenge of racing your machine within inches of another is intense. But the punishing physical effects of G-forces can also take their toll on the body.
A track like Fontana, it's flat. Like Las Vegas, you're more thrown to the right-hand side of the car. You're more tossed to the right. Whereas at Daytona or Atlanta, even Bristol, the racetracks are banked so much it pushes you straight down into the seat and actually compresses the body a little bit.
You know, you can move your head a little bit in your arms, that's it. And that wears it in fatigues on your backbone, just pounding into that seat, lap after lap after lap.
You know, even when you ride a roller coaster, you don't put a helmet on. And put a helmet on with a weight on it and said, okay, now go ride the roller coaster, it'd be a whole different experience, and that's what we go through.
Drivers in the Winston Cup Series often play hurt. There are no relief pitchers or backup quarterbacks. In the end, athletes are defined by their abilities and the boundaries of their sport.
If you put Kobe Bryant or Derek Jeter or Tiger Woods in your race car and they drove for you at an event, what part of their body would be the most sore?
I would probably have to say that their back and their neck is going to get the most sore.
Anymore, you drive your cars with your shoulders as much as you do with your chest, especially as much as you do with your hands. Because the wheels are so close to us, you end up using your chest a lot.
About 20 or 30 laps into the race, my hands will start to hurt because I'm gripping the wheel so tight, and I have to remind myself to just, relax just a little bit.
Just sit home one night and put your foot on against something and just hold it there for 4 hours and see if that's hard on you or not.
Trying to hold yourself in that seat and turn the wheel and push the gas, all those things working against one another really knocks up your lower back.
When you're trying to drive a car faster than it will go, it becomes incredibly physical. And, if you're not out of breath, like you've been running, you're not working it hard enough.
Now, one of the most popular questions we get from race fans is, why do drivers sit so close to the steering wheel? Well, now you know. And if you want to find out how it tires your arms, get a book, your phone book, or this is my notebook for this race, and hold it out here when this race starts and see how quickly your arms get tired. Then, after you rest, bring the notebook in and try and turn the steering wheel, using your chest and your arms. And you'll understand why drivers sit so close to the wheel. Wally, it really has the ability to wear you out if you don't get that seat properly fitted in the race car in relationship to the wheel.
Yeah, Bill, you explained that perfect. I mean, basically, everybody gets real close to the wheel for leverage. You've got better leverage using your shoulder and your upper body. And when the wheel's out far, when I first drove a stock car, I had the wheel way out there. And with all the G-forces and turning for 3 or 4 hours, my arms were ready to fall off. So then I understood why everybody had the steering wheel so close to them, but you explained it perfect.
Well, thank you, Wally, and I apologize for making the comments about your car being in the lake.
It's okay. It really was.
Okay. So when the race starts, get yourself a book and try it. First out like this, then rest, then in like this, and see how it goes. I'm going to read my notes. We'll come back. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. We're at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina, where they continue to drive the track.